have discussed so far on Docker. So on last class we have seen dockerfile, right? Okay. So dockerfile concept is done. What is the dockerfile, guys? Yes, it is a text file which we can use for image creation automation way. Okay, so we not to go for container and install some packages and need to commit that file. Okay, we can directly build the Docker file to get the image. So what are the main components on Docker file, guys? Main components. So these are the few of the things from as well as like run, copy, add, expose, work tier, CMD, entry point, env. Like there is also something you can give label. Label is like you can label your email address like that as well. Okay. And if the image is owned by some user, if I am the owner of that image, I can use a label called maintainer as well. That is also possible on Dockerfile. But all these things are like they will not ask your interview questions, but main they will ask from, run, copy, CMD, entry point. So these are the few of the important points for interview questions for fresher. Okay. Experience they will ask like scenario based. If I want to copy a file, how you are going to do on Dockerfile? If I want to get a repository from Jenkins, how you are going to do? So the difference between is fresher is directly getting these points. But if you are going for experienced way, they will give you the scenario. Again, this concept is same, but they will ask one scenario based way. Okay. When you get the scenario means once you practice this like a lot more of times and you understand the concept and you are able to get what exactly they are asking, you will able to answer the interview scenario as well. Okay. So today we are going to discuss about this concept. Yeah, I'm going to recall one more time the Dockerfile concept. So from there we are going to discuss some other point. Like this concept is done actually. So let me go to the volumes. As I said before, container is nothing but your EC2 instance. We can call it off. Okay. The meaning of actual container is nothing but your virtual machine. Okay. Virtual machine, if you want to run a virtual machine, you need to have something to store, right? For EC2 instance, you are having your EBS blocks. For local computer, you are having your C drive, D drive. Same like most, volumes need something to store the data. That is, sorry, volumes not, it is Docker container. Container need something to store your data. That something is called as your Docker volume. Okay. On EC2, it is EBS volume. On Docker, it is Docker volume. See, here there are a couple of things you need to keep on mind when you are working with Dockers. Every time you work with Docker, you need to remember all these points. When we create a container, the volume will be created. Okay. You can't create container one time and volume one time. These both will be created at a single time. So that means if I am trying to create a container one, the volume will be directly embedded on that container one. It is directly creation. Next, volume is simple, a directory inside our container. So directory is called as your volume. Volume is nothing more, it's a rocket science. If you create a particular directory inside your container, that is called as your volume. Next, first we have to declare the directory volume and we can share the volume. So I have a container one. I have some n number of files over there. If I want to get all the files from container 1 to container 2, I need to share the volume of container 1 to container 2. Okay. I need to share the volume of container 1 to container 2. What is the volume here? Directory, simple. Okay. So this can be shared. First of all, we need to create a container, and inside the container, we need to create a directory. So then only you are going to share this volume to another container. Next, even if we stop the container, we can still access the volumes. Okay. For example, if I have my container, this container is running. If I stop that container also, the data inside the container, I'm still able to access from the outside of it. Okay. Next, volume will be created in one container. So that means what are the volume you are creating, that is created only once you creating the container. And that only for each container you are going to create one volume. Directories you can create many, but volume will be on one volume. Okay, you can name it as. Next, we can declare directory as a volume is creating the container. But if I have my container one running, I cannot able to create container from existing one. Like I cannot create the volume from existing container. If we have container one will definitely consist of a volume. You can't create volume from this container one again. So volume will be only once creation. We can't create multiple times. Next. You can share one volume across many number of containers. So if I create a volume for container one, I can share it to container 2, container 3, container 4. Likewise, I can share up to n number of containers. Okay. Next, volume will not be included updating image. For example, yesterday we have seen, right? We have updated the image, right? If you include the volume is not going to update. So that's a major drawback. We can take the backups then, like how to take the backup, I will tell on the like upcoming classes. Next, if container 1 is sharing volume to container 2, the changes made in the container 2 will also be reflecting on container 1. So that means, let's see. Yeah, this will be my container 1. Here I have some volume. This will be my container 2. Here also I'm again some volume is there. Okay, I have shared this volume to here. So I have created container 1. The volume of container 1 is shared to, for example, initially I have 3 files here, but I go to this volume, container 2 volume, and I have added 3 more files. All these 6 files will be present on container 1 only. And you can see the same files on container 2 as well. So that means while you are sharing the volume from one container to another container, the changes you made on another container will be reflected to your current container. Clear? I will show this practically. So these are the few important points. Like while you are practicing container concept, you need to remember all of these like points, because if you are not able to remember, like it is going to throw some error for you, definitely. So one more time, I'm going to repeat each and everything. When we create container, volume will be created. Volume is simply nothing but your directory. First, we have to declare the directory volume and we can share the volume. So that means if you are going to share your container volume, that means we need to first declare the volume. Then only we are able to share that volume to another containers. Even if we stop the containers, we can still access the volumes, and volume will be created on one time only. If I have container 1, only one volume will be created, but you can share that one volume to n number of volumes as per your requirement. Next. Okay, you can declare directory as a volume only while creating the container, and we can't create volume from existing container. Okay, so we can't create volume from existing container. Next, you can share one volume across many containers. For example, if I have one container, I can share the volume of that one container to 100 containers as well. Okay, and the maximum limit that containers you can create is 1000 containers you can create simply. Okay, but no one is going to work on these 1000 containers. So we are working with some minimum services. I will explain at the Docker service part. Okay. Next, volume will not be included when you update image. As I said, like when you are having your Docker file, you have that volume on the Docker file. You update the Docker image by Docker file. Volume is not going to be updated. Volume is going to remain constant. So how to update this volume? You can go to your container, you can update the volume, and you can share that volume. That is possible. Next, if container 1 volume is going to share to container 2, the changes made on container 2 will be reflected into container 1. So these are the few important things we need to remember while we are working with containers. Okay, and like there is one more point we need to discuss. If you want to share the volume, we can do it on 2 ways. We can share the volume from one container to another container, and we can share the volume of our local. For example, I have my local machine. My local machine consists of some files. If I want to share that file to the container, it is also possible. So there are 2 ways to share the container. One is volume. One is from container to container. Second way is host to container. Host means the place where you have installed Docker. Okay. So let's do something on this Docker volume. So before going to that, like I will like to explain some of the uses of these volumes actually. So decoupling content from the storage. Can someone tell me about decoupling? Like You will be heard this word on physics, I think. Attach into the container, but is not directly coupling, like it is decoupling. So that means volume and container having some minimal distance. We can say that. Okay. It is not tightly fixed. It is loosely decoupled. Next, sharing volume among different containers. So you can share one volume among different containers, as I said before. So we can attach volumes to the container as well. Okay. On deleting the volume, on deleting container, volume will not be deleted. For example, if you delete the container, we can separately create some volumes. Okay. So that volume is not going to delete it. And we can take the backups of the volumes and backups of the images as well. I will tell you how to take the backups of the container, volumes and images. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I am going to create a volume and a container. To create a volume and container, what we required actually? Docker file, right? To create Docker file, what you need? Docker we need now. So we need to install Docker. Yum install docker-y. If you work on Ubuntu, you need to give docker.io. Okay. But the thing is, if you go for Ubuntu, if you go for apt install docker.io, Docker engine will run directly. You need not to start Docker engine there. It will be run directly. We have that option there. So systemctl start Docker. Status Docker. Status is for what? Whether the engine is running or not. Engine is running and give Docker version. So we have client and Docker engine. Okay. So I am going to create a Docker file now. So give vim capital D Docker file. And here I am going to take, first of all, what I am going to write? From refers to the base image you want to take for the container. So give from here in caps and give Ubuntu. So that means your container is going to take Ubuntu image. If you want Red Hat, you can also give Red Hat there. It's up to your choice. Okay. But majority of the containers will always run on this Ubuntu only. Maximum number of containers. So here we are going to create volume, right? So you can give volume square brace double quotes slash, you can give volume name as ABC. Okay. And double quotes close, square brace close. Okay. This is the basic way of creating your volume. So remember, you have given volume there, right? If you have given their volume, if you directly give the files to embed, it will not embed the files there. Because first we need to create the volume, and after that we need to work on that volume. If you see on EBS also, first we create EBS, then only we are going to create files, right? Directly we cannot give files to EBS. Okay, it is not going to work. Same concept is going to reciprocate on this Docker concept. First we need to declare volume, as I said before. If we go to this slide, I have shown here. If you see this point, first we have to declare the directory volume and then share volume. So that means first we need to declare, then only we are going to work on it, and after that we are going to share it. Okay. So see now. So this thing is enough for me. This thing is enough for me as of now. So I am going to save this file. And after that, what we need to do, guys? We need to build this Docker file to get image. So just give Docker images. We are not having any image as of now. But if you build this Docker file, how many images you are going to get? Single image. Super. Single image you are going to get. Then what about Ubuntu base image? So you are going to get two images. One is your base Ubuntu image. Second one is the image you are going to create now. So run the command docker build -t. Okay, the new image name is image1. I'm going to give it here dot. Dot means your current directory. If we give Docker images again, how many images you are seeing, guys? Two. One is your base image. Base image will also be on your local. Second one is the image that you have created just now. So now I want to run the container from the image one. What is the command to run the container? Docker run -it. IT means interactive terminal -- name. So C1 I am giving container one, and by using which image? Is ABC there? Hit enter. So that means I have the volume created. So now you can work on these volumes. Okay. Remember, you can also create the directory in the same way. But if you want to create volume, you need to create volume on the Docker file. But if you want to create directory, you need to give direct like mkdir, run mkdir. So that's the difference. Volume is different, directory is different on the Docker file. If you give ls abc, are you having any files here? No. So just go to cd abc and create some files here. So I'm going to give touch f1, f2, f3 and cat greater than abc. No, not like I'm giving my name Raham. In this Raham, this is the abc volume in the container c1. Just save the content. So totally, how many files we're having now? Four files. One is f1, f2, f3. Second one is Raham. The thing is, I want to share this volume to another container. My container name is C1. I have my volume and I'm having some of the files for me, right? So how I'm going to share this volume from one container to another container? First of all, you need to exit from this container. How to exit? Control D. Okay. Even the container is stopped. If we give docker ps-a, we can still share the volume. Okay, so the command here you are going to do is, first of all, create a new container called docker volume 2. Sorry, docker container 2. What is the command to create container 2? Docker run -it -, name container 2 and give base image Ubuntu. Because if you don't give base image and if you give image 1 is consisting of volume. Okay, so that means it is not going to work for you. So you need to take like whatever image, but you need to take that image 1. So this is the way of creating container, right? In the middle, right here, we're going to write something called like -, privileged. So container name is like taken. Okay, -, privileged. Privileged is equal to true. So that means you are going to share all the privileges and -, volumes from which container we are sharing, guys? Container 1. So give C1 here. That's it. Have we got the point? Just first of all, we have write the container 2 creation command. In the middle, we have used privileged is equal to true and volumes from which container? If you don't give these two commands, then volume is not going to share it for you. Just hit enter now. You are on container 2 now. If you give LL, are we able to see ABCD now? Just go to ABCD, like ABC. How many files we are going to see now? Are you seeing 4 files? And give cat Raham. Is the content from their container 1 or not? Okay. So this is the way how you are going to share the volumes from one container to another container. Is the concept clear for you? So now what I am going to do is I am going to add one more file here. That is cat greater than raham1.txt. Okay, I am going to give raham1. This file is created on container 2. Okay, like I am giving container C2. I am going to save this file and I am going to exit from this container. Okay, so if you go for the container 1, what are the changes you have done on container 2 will be directly replicated to your container 1. If you want to go to container 1, what is the process, guys? Docker start. So docker start container 1. After the, start spelling is wrong. Docker start container 1 and after that docker attach. If you give cd abc now, give ll, you are going to see how many files now? 5 files. Is raham1 there? Give cat raham1. Is the container having that content? So that means what are the changes you are doing on container 2 will be replicating to container 1. And again, if you add some files here, it is going to directly replicate it to container 2. So let's do this also. So give cat and give container 1. Again, this is created on which container? Container 1. So here you can write whatever you want actually. Okay, there is no need of writing the whole things. So here, which file you have created now? RAM2 is created. So this file is going to replicate on container 1 again. So give control D exit, docker start container 2, and then docker attach. If you give cd abc now, you are going to see 6 files. Last file is your RAM2, right? Is RAM2 there? Give cat RAM2. Is the content from there or not? So this is the way how you are going to share the volumes from one container to another container. So now the thing is, if I want to share the volume of container 2 to container 3, what will be the process? First of all, we need to write the command of how to create Docker volume like container 3. Tell me the command. Docker run -it. No, first of all, like C3, and after that image, base image you can take Ubuntu. And here in the middle, you can write like this after C3, okay? -- privileged is equal to true. After that, -- volumes from which container? C2 or C1, both is same, no? So you can give C1 or C2. So give C2 here, hit enter. Sorry. Okay, volume is filling. Huh? So go to CD ABC directly. Are you able to see all the files? So this is the way of to sharing the containers from, to share the volumes from container to another container. Is it clear for all of you? This is only way one, but I can do it on multiple ways. First way, you have created by container using dockerfile, but I can create the container and volumes by using direct command. So if I want to create a volume by direct command, okay, I am going to create the volume from direct command. So the command will be, first of all, create a container. What is the command to create a container? Docker run -it name container 4. After that, base image Ubuntu. But in the middle, give -v /raham. So that means the volume you are going to create now is here. Raham. Hit enter. Give ls. Are you able to see Raham now? Second way of doing it. Is it clear? So you can do it by using dockerfile, or you can do it by using direct -v tag command. There is also another way to do it. Okay, but first of all, like try to understand this concept, and we will go for another concept. So here you are having a directory called Raham, right? So this is your Raham volume now. So the tag we have used is -v Raham only, right? Nothing more complicated here. Direct command. To cd Raham, try to create some files, touch R1, R2, R3, cat greater than file1. This is the file from container. What container it is? C4. Okay. Save this file and give control D to exit. Now, if you want to share the volume of this container 4 to container 5, first of all, you need to write container 5 command, right? So write the container 5 command, docker run -it -name container 5 and base image Ubuntu. In the middle, you need to write -privileged is equal to true and -- volumes from which container? C4 or 5? 4. Hit enter. Directly you can give Raham. Is Raham there? CD Raham. How many files we are going to see now? 4 files. Right? Give cat Raham. Oh, sorry, file1, right? Content is there. Again, if you change some content here, the content will be replicated where? Container 4. Let's try to do this. Cat double greater than file1. Give this like file2. This is the new file. CD Raham Inside you are able to see file 2, right? So give cat file 2. Is the content replicated? Second way of doing it. Are you able to understand like how the process is going? Command is single command. But if you are like you are creating Docker volumes on multiple ways. So this is what you call as container volume sharing from one container to another container. But the thing is, here I am going to explain one more concept, that is your sharing of host volume to container. For example, go to ct/home. Here you are having some EC2 directory. So go to cd EC2. What you are having here? Nothing. But you are having something here that can be seen under ls-al. These are some hidden files. Along with these hidden files, create some files. So touch like home files. I am giving it as home file 1.4. I am creating 4 home files. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share all these files to my Docker container. I'm going to share all these files. How you can do it? So I want to share this volume from my host machine to Docker container. So first of all, try to create a Docker container. The same process we are going to follow. What is the command to create container 6? Docker run. Sorry. Yeah, you can do it. Nothing will happen. Okay. Container name C6. Base image you want to take it. But here you are going to take like this. Okay. So we are sharing from host, right? So hyphen give v / under home under EC2 user, you are going to share your volume, right? So here you are going to see host volume. Host volume is your volume name, guys. Host volume is your volume name. Okay. If you hit enter, see what will happen. The container share ULS, you are going to see host volume. Is host volume there? Go to CD host volume. Are we able to see all the host files? Give LL. Like LS, it is showing like this. If you give LL, all the hidden files will be there. Clear? So this is the command used to share the volumes from host to container. So write down this. Like you are having all this on your what you call LMS as well. I haven't uploaded the PPT yet, but I will upload today at any cost because I am working on some extra concept for you. What are the syllabus that I have given to you? Like I am trying to execute few of those other part as well. So I'm going to make them on PPT. So for initial days, like adjust like this, but you will get your PPT like couple of days before the Docker end. So are we clear up to now? Just now on today we have worked on Docker volume part. So volume we have shared from using container to container as well as host to container. We have worked on 2 ways. One is automation way, that is your Docker file. Second one is your manual way. Let me do some test case here. The test case I'm going to perform is see. I want to create a Docker file. I have some already Docker file, vi Docker file. Okay. On this Docker file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something. Work dir abc. What is the meaning of this, guys? We will directly go to abc, right? So escape shift:/W. Just update the image. This is not a part of syllabus, but this is some test case you need to understand. Okay. So Docker build. So Docker build -t image1. Hit enter. It is built, right? So try to create a container from this image. So Docker run -it -name. Container name is container 7 or 8. 7, right? Container 7 and the image name is emg1. Which directory you are now? ABC only, right? You don't have any files. But just exit from this container and update this image one more time. I am going to add some new files here. I am going to add some. So touch, like we need to give run first. Run, touch F1, F2, F3. I'm going to add 3 files and I'm going this on like Raham file. Insert some escape shift:/W. Update this image one more time. Okay. image is updated, right? So create a new volume. I'm going to change C8 here. Hit enter. What we have done is we have gone to the ABC directory and we have created 3 files and 1 separate file content. If you give LL, are we able to see anything here? Anything here? Okay, let's go back to our root volume, normal volume, and check here as well. Are you able to find here as well? No. Go to cd/. Are you able to find here as well? So what you have understood of this concept? ఏమర్థమైంది మీకు దీనివల్ల? టెస్ట్ కేస్ చేసాం, we have performed a test case. What you got from this test case? Yeah, why it is not created? As I said before, if you go back to your Docker volume PPT, here I have written a point very clearly. So that point is see, you cannot declare files inside directory by using dockerfile. First of all, we need to create a volume, then only you are going to work there. But you can't declare a volume, but you can't declare a volume and work directly on it. First of all, it is only possible to create volume. And after that, we are only run to create files or folders, whatever you want. Let's understand one more topic here. So for example, let's say this is wrong because I have given mkdir, right? Okay. If you see here, volume I have given, but if you test like mkdir, the output is going to be same. Nothing going to change it. So it might be directory or volume. First we need to declare. Later on we are going to work. But if you create some files will be directly created. But if you try to create files on volume, it is not going to take. Is it clear for everyone? Have you got some understanding? Okay. So next. We created another container. No. So our next concept is going to be your, like Dockerfile is completed, like all this we have seen, guys. If you want to create Docker volumes directly, there is a possibility of creating directly as well. Okay. So these are the few of the commands. If you want to list the Docker commands, Docker volumes, what is the command? Docker volume ls. And if you want to create a Docker volume create. If you want to remove, just give rm, Docker volume rm, and the name of the volume. After that, if you want to prune means, like for example, if you're having some Docker volumes which are not attached to any container. Okay. So not used for any container. So that is what is called as your unused volumes. If you give Docker volume prune, then what are the volumes is not attached for any container. All these volumes are going to be deleted directly. Clear? Next, if you want to inspect a container, you can like directly give Docker volume inspect and Docker container inspect. You can inspect a volume as well as you can inspect a container as well. So let's try to use these commands. If we give Docker info now, see, if we give Docker info, everything will be here. So total memory here you're using, guys, like almost all like it's 1 GB, right? See, if you go to the top of the file, how many containers you are having? So how many containers you are running? How many are stopped? How many images you are having? If we give Docker, images, you are having 2 only, but it is showing 5 means we have updated. You can also give another image as well, but like maintaining images is difficult, right? So I have used the same image. But if you want to update image, you can give image1:1. For example, let me try to give. For example, this is my base image, right? So give vam dockerfile. Like here, I am adding like some more commands. Give env name as Raham. So if you try to update this image, what will happen is Docker run, like Docker build -t. I can give image2 as well. Okay, img2 as well. But like maintaining multiple images will confuse it. So that's the reason I have. Let's go to Docker info now. Previously you have 5 images, but see now how many images you are getting, guys? 6 images. So that means it is going to take the updated image as well. Okay. So like volumes here, you are having like your volumes concept as well. If you want to check the volume, so the command you can give it is docker volume ls. Are you able to get all the volumes? So there are some shared volumes as well. Okay, don't try to like, sir, we have 8 containers, so that means we need to have 8 volumes, right? But we share it, right? So total we have 8 containers. So 8 by 2 is, are you able to see for now? That's it. If you have different volumes for different containers, so there you can able to list all the volumes, but we have shared. So that means every 2 containers will contains of only 1 volume. So total how many containers we are having? 8 containers. So 8 by 2 is, that's it. Sir, if I want to create a volume, not on container, I want to create normally. So the command is docker volume create. I want to give the volume name. So I am giving it as volume 1. So volume 1 is created. If you want to take the list, docker volume ls, are you able to see the docker volume 1 now? So this is the way of listing the docker volumes. Second one is, if you want to inspect the volume, so that means if you want this volume information, okay, if you want to get the volume information, you can give docker inspect and this volume name. So you are going to get all these points. Okay, it is created on this particular time. So driver is local driver, and you don't have any labels for the volume. You can attach labels as well. Okay, label is some separate concept, so you can attach labels as well. As of now, we don't have any labels here, so label is none. So where you have mounted this one? So I have mounted in var lib docker volumes. On this place I have mounted. If you give ls/var lib docker and give this image name like fb like this. Or like directly I have copied it, right? So give this here. Hit enter. Like, are we able to see this, guys? Like, remove this one from here, var lib docker. Are you able to list out this one? Volumes. So go to volumes, give ls here. Are you able to see the every docker volume? But the default path is var lib docker volumes. What is the default path? Var lib docker volume. So every volume will be going to store here. If you want to list the containers, you can give ls/var lib docker images. Like, you are going to see the overlay too. This is the image DB and layer DB. So you are going to see some of the different components. So the default path is var lib docker. You can see your containers, imaging, networking, like swarm components. As of now, we don't have any swarm component. I will explain swarm tomorrow. So you can see your swarm nodes as well. Next. So docker volume inspect is done. Docker volume ls to list the volumes. For example, if you want to remove the volume, okay, if you want to remove the volume, so the command is docker volume rm. Just give this first one name. What is showing to me? It is saying that you are trying to remove a volume that is attached to the container. So you cannot directly remove the volume while you are attaching to it. So what you can do is you can remove the files and you can delete the directory inside the container. That is possible. But this volume one is not attached to any container, right? You can directly delete it. So give docker volume rm and volume one. Is it removed? If you give docker volume ls now, you are not able to list that one. Clear? So try to create few more volumes. Docker volume create volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. I am creating 3 volumes. Docker volume. Okay, so all these volume just now I have created is not useful to any container, right? If you want to remove the docker volumes, which is not used by any container, so the command is docker volume prune. So how many unused volumes we are having, guys? Yes. Are these deleted now? That's it. So this is the way to remove the volumes. Is it clear? Next. Docker volume prune you can give directly. Okay, if you want to see unused volumes, right? Yeah, I will explain Docker Swarm concept. You are going to have some Docker Swarm concept tomorrow. On Swarm, like I will show it on cluster mode. You are having cluster mode there. How to remove the volumes or cluster mode. This is actually single node we are working. We haven't go for cluster yet. So the cluster concept will come when you are into Docker Swarm only. Clear? Okay. So just prune is to remove all the volumes which are not used. So the command is docker volume prune. If you want to inspect a container, so volume inspection is done. If you want to inspect a container, docker container inspect container name. So I want to inspect of C1. So all the information that container one is having on your screen now. See, if you go to here, it is still like this. Like the container ID is this one. This is your container ID created on this. The path is default is bash path. Status is exiting. Wait a second. Status is exit. So that means it is not on running way. So is it running? No, false. It is paused? False. Is it restarted? False. So it is like killed? No. Is it dead? False. So everything will be false because we just stopped this container, but we haven't killed it. We haven't removed the container. Okay. Exit code is 0 here. But if you start the container, just remember this, all of this. Okay. See, or else like, let me explain this on another way. It is like much more beautiful for you. Docker volume inspect container greater than C1. So that means all the content will be going to present on where? A file called C1 file. If you give ls, you have C1 file, right? So just start this Docker file one, like Docker container one. Docker start C1 container one. Okay. Just give the same by using C2 now. So you are having some different output, right? So give C2. So you are having C1 file is your container stopped state. C2 file is your started state. Just give diff C1, C2. How many difference you are going to see? So before container is stopped, the status is exited and running is false. But after start running and it is true. And the PID, process ID is 0. Before started. After started it is, and you are going to see the started at what time it is started, and this sandbox ID is also going to change. Okay. And if we come to a bit down, see all the things. Docker entry point like endpoint ID, it is null on stopped, but on started it is like you are having some endpoint ID, right? And gateway is disabled because you stop the container, the internet gateway is not going to allow the any traffic for the container. Okay. Next, IP address is 0 again because container is on stopped start, but the IP address is changed, right? So like if you go for everything, you are going to see the difference like this. So all these are your differences. Is it clear? So if you want to differentiate, you can do like what normal people will do is they will open multiple tabs and they will check crossly. It will take to consume a lot of time. Why to do that? Because you have some options, right? This is the better way to differentiate. Or if you want, give VM -o C1 C2. You can also compare like this, up and down. If you want to give top and bottom, you need to give. I think you forgot about it. If you remember, I have set this on Linux commands. Instead of small o, you can give capital O. So that means you are going to get side by side. If we compare like this, the first method is easy or second method is easy? Diff is easy because you will get only different parts. So you need to check all other parts. Okay. What are the differences? You are only able to get those differences as well. Clear? That's it. On real time also, if you want to compare any files, you are going to compare by using diff command only. Okay. It will save a lot of time for you actually. Okay, so next. So the other thing we need to like mount volumes directly, like we have seen this guys. Have you remembered this one? Hyphen V tag. Okay, the same concept. Like we need not to like do it separately. It is the same concept that we have seen on normal. So like Docker push. So now we are going to discuss something about called as Docker Hub. Have you observed GitHub? What is the main purpose of GitHub? Push and pull. See, what are the files that you are creating on your local? You are going to make available for everyone on where? GitHub. Same like what are the images that you have created? If your friend want to use the same image, he need not to work for it. You can directly push to Docker Hub and he can directly use that image. So let me explain how the real time works on Docker Hub. So what you are going to do is, for example, you are having multiple version of the image, right? So for example, it is the for a first week you have worked on some image. You have something updated there. And on second week, you are going to update some other things, right? So you are having this image version 2. And third thing, you are going to update some other thing. That is your V3. So if you want to roll back, you need to have V1, right? So every version is going to place it on Docker Hub. Every version is going to place on Docker Hub. So that means you are taking backup of every container. Taking backup means what it is? Taking image backup, right? So we can do it. So to do that, first of all, I am going to create a container. I am going to install some packages and I am going to create image by using it. Okay. So we are going to the old method which we have followed previously. So tell me the commands, what I am going to explain, First of all, I would like to create a Docker container. On that container, I need to install some packages. So what is the process, guys? You can do it by using dockerfile and you can do manual way as well. So dockerfile you have done. Manual way is also done. Which way you want me to explain now? Dockerfile you want me to explain? Okay. So I am going to give VIM dockerfile is there. So I am going to remove all of this from here. Okay, I am going to use this base image only. Okay. So to install some packages, what is the first thing you need to do actually? Update. So give run apt update -y. Update will give list of packages to update. But if you really want to update, you need to give upgrade. So I am going to install some packages, run apt install. I am going to install Python. Like you need to give Python 3. And I'm going to use Apache 2. It is your web server. And I'm going to install Git package. And I'm going to install Java. So install Java is like, anyone knows about the command? OpenJDK, like, or else like you can give default JRE. Default -JRE and default. Oh, sorry. So you are going to like default JDK, right? Okay, -y. So yeah, T is missing here. So you are going to install Python, Apache 2, Git, OpenJDK, and OpenJRE. So you are going to install these other packages. Escape Shift::, I am going to save this file and I am going to build this image. So I am going to build like this. So Docker build -t. So I am going to give it as image1 and version v1. You can give tags like this. So this is version 1. Or like you can give like this. So for example, if you are working for a client called client name, so give Swiggy is your client name and which version of image is, hit enter. So it is going to update and it is going to install all the packages. You can directly push this image. Let me tell you. To push this image, we need something called as your Docker Hub, right? So first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to create a Docker Hub account. So the Docker Hub account is very, very easy creation. You can create directly. So go to here and give Docker Hub. So like Docker Hub. Here, like go to Docker Hub or get started. Like give sign in here. You don't have any account, but if you give sign in, it will ask to create a new account on the bottom. There is some option called sign up. Click on it. First of all, username. Do you have any Docker Hub accounts? No, right? So can someone tell me your username and mail ID? Vamsi is your username and email Vamsi. SV, okay, is SUBU DDA DDI at the rate of gmail.com. Open your Gmail, you will get a OTP there. And password I am late like having is I will tell you separately. 1 2 3 a password decode చేస్తే ఒక ప్రైజ్ ఇస్తాను decode చేయండి. So click on I am not a robot. Sign up. So password must be like 9 characters. Like I am going to add some more characters. Let me remove all of this and give some separate. కనుక్కోండి. So this Vamsi name is already taken. So it is asking me some other name. So Vamsi 007 James Bond. Okay. So give like this. It is also taken. If you go taken and ఇంకా అస్సామే. 1 2 3 is like it will be automatically taken, guys, because everyone is going to use the default name only. Okay. So now you are going to log in. So I'm going to use Vamsi like Vamsi username. So VAMSA 0077. Click on continue. You can give your email address as well. Password. చెప్పండి 143. ఏంటిది లాగిన్ అవ్వట్లా? Yeah, it is done. So give personal, like it is the same GitHub account, right? If you observe, continue with free. That is done. Okay. You have created what? Docker Hub. So create a repository now. Okay, repository is your Swiggy repository. Like create a repository. And the repository name is Swiggy. Okay. Public repo, you can paste it. Create. So first of all, like I am going to push this image directly. So how we can push it? First of all, we need to list the Docker images. How many images we are having? So this is the image we need to push, right? So first of all, you are going to give a command called docker login. If you don't give docker login, it is not going to take the credentials. So give the username Vamsi 0077. Username is Vamsi 0077. And what is the password? The Docker login is successful. Okay, I have logged in successful. So now what you need to do is you need to tag that image. Before pushing, we need to tag that image. So I am going to tag like this. Okay, Docker. So there is a command for it. Like you are having commands already. So don't confuse regarding this. See, this is the command you need to use. So first of all, we need to tag this, and after that you need to push it. So I'm giving tag. What is your image name, guys, here? Swiggy. Okay, like I am getting it side by side for your better understanding. Okay. Docker images. Okay. So let me compress this like this. Okay, will not able to say things. Okay, okay, but don't worry. So first of all, I'm going to Docker tag. What is the image name? Actually, this is like the another name I have given. Instead of Swiggy, I have given a Swiggy. Okay. So you are going to give the Docker Hub username as Vamsi 0077. And which repository you want to push it? What is the repository I have created there? Swiggy. Okay, hit enter. No such image. Wait a second. SWA repository. You can give whatever you want. You can give ABCD as well. That is like this one. Let me wait a second. Docker tag image Vamsi 0077 Swiggy. The command is same. Okay, Docker tag image name. Okay, okay. Or else like let me give some another tag. ABCD. Why this image is not pushing? Okay, like are we having some image with this issue? Or else let me give some another image, guys. You can give whatever image. IMG2. Give me a second. This one is tagged actually. If you observe one, like Swiggy is not tagged, but image2 is tagged. Okay. So now if I want to push this image, the command is docker push. After that, Vamsi 0077, and here I need to give Swiggy. Is it done? Here you need to give your repository name, not your image name. Okay. If you go here and observe this one, hit the refresh button now. Are we able to get your image, guys? Image name is image2, right? So go for the image2. Are you getting this one? Latest. So click on see all. So this is the latest one you have given. Okay. In this way, we can push and pull the images. If someone want to use this image, go to this user Vamsi 0077, click on repository, and directly you can click here. So if you click here and if you copy this on your local machine, what is the image that Vamsi is earning? You are going to get the same image with same packages. Is it clear? Okay, the first one. And the thing is, let's try to do it on this way. First of all, I am going to docker run -it -- name C9 I am giving Swiggy SWIGGY Swiggy. Swiggy repository don't exist. Docker login. Actually, we are having some image with this issue. Everything is perfect, but it's okay. Yeah, SWIGGY. IIGY. Okay. It is not creating. Actually, it need to be created. Okay. Give me a second. Actually, there's a tag called V1. Yeah, this thing like I have forgot. I have given tag for it. Previous image I haven't given any tag. But if you want to work with the image which is tagged, we need to give the tag name as well. If you give LL, like you are going to see, just type Python 3. Is Python installed here? Like if you want to check Java, you can give default JRE GDK and give git -- version. Is git there? Go to cd/var www html. So that means Apache 2 is installed. If you want to restart, like systemctl status Apache 2. So all these things which we have given is installed. So that means the images consist of everything package we have installed on the Docker. So now if you want to push this image, what is the command we need to give? Docker push. And here the tag name is we need to give V1, right? So give V1 as tag name. It is tagged, right? So after that you need to give push, right? So give Docker push and that image name. So this repository I need to give it as, I have only one repository, right? Swiggy. But we have tagged it as ABCD. So we need to give ABCD here. If you hit enter, is it going to pull now? Push now. So go to haven't given user and check. So once we give the tag, we need to give the tag name as well to push the images and to enter into the container as well. See how it is like taking. It is taking a lot of time because The base image is 77 MB only, but this Swiggy image is up to 900 MB because we have installed a lot of packages, right? So dependency is going to install and configuration file is going to present on our local machine. So that's the reason it is having almost 900 MB. Let me show you how much MB it is once it is pushed done. If we give Docker images, we have taken it from base image Ubuntu, right? What is the size of Ubuntu, guys? But what is the last image size? So how the things change is base image, we don't have any packages. But once we go to the container, we have install lot of packages, right? So that is the thing why it is consume a lot of package. Here observe the size, it is 908 MB actually. Go to your Docker Hub once, hit refresh, go back to one, hit refresh, refresh one. So initially, like we have only one image, right? And the repository name is Swiggy. But I have tagged it with another repository. That repository name is, if you go inside ABCD, are you seeing this image one? We go to see all. See, this is the thing we have done. If you see here, what is the size here actually, guys? 446.17. So that means almost all it is completed up to 50%, right? So this is the way how you are going to push the images from local to Docker Hub. Okay, but like be careful while you are giving tag, right? Include tag name as well. If you don't give tag, it is not necessary. But if you give tag, it is necessary to push the images. Okay. So from starting onwards today's class, what we have seen, guys, from initially, we have worked with Docker volumes, Docker volume series concept, and volume sharing from container to container. This is one part, container to container. Second thing is container to host. And third one, we have created container by using three ways. One is your Docker file. Second one is your -v tag. Third one is your volume commands. And last topic we have seen is Docker Hub account creation and Docker push and tag. Tag and push. So are you clear up to now? So for the online people, guys, if you are having any doubts on today's concept, you can ask me. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to discuss about Docker Swarm and all other components because Docker Swarm is very, very complicated. If you want to work on Docker Swarm, you need to have this basic knowledge. And again, you are going to work on Docker Stack. Again, you are going to work on Docker Compose. Okay. If you are good enough with all these concepts, I am going to explain new concept. Okay. Like I am going to include a couple of concepts for you. Let's see.